All right, we're going to try another take here at Welcome to the Spirit of Music and the Status Quo. My name is Mitch Jr. and I am your host. Super excited to start this podcast off, boys and girls. I really am. I find myself talking to myself very often, and it's been a long time coming that I just record my little rants in my head and get it out there so that you can all have a good laugh. I think it's really cool, and what we're going to be focusing on in this podcast is the music industry as a whole. That's national, regional, and international, and the state of the circumstances or the state of affairs that we find ourselves in. And that might be a little bit political, and that might certainly be spiritual, and there's going to be many other little things that we touch on that may not just be music, but music I find is very all-encompassing. It encompasses so much of our day-to-day lives, and we think of music, we think of a song, and it's not just that. So much goes into the music industry. It's not even worth beginning to list the entire amount that is. Anyway, this one here today, we're going to be talking about the state of the industry at the moment. We know, I don't even want to say the word, but we know what's happening at the moment, and it's only right that we edge our ways into new areas of our lives. So I want to ask you, and also discuss about what I've been doing, about how we can change or how we are adapting and changing little things in our lives to cope whilst performances, live gigs, live shows aren't necessarily the way they used to be, or they were anyway. So have you started a new business, for example? Are you doing something that you've always wanted to do, maybe a vocation? Are you building, carpentry, doing some ironmongery? I've gone very trade here. Or have you began writing blogs? Have you focused on social media? I don't know. Have you focused on a different enterprise? Have you just totally left the music industry while it's like this? Or are you still here? Are you maybe doing some live shows, online live shows, or are you doing busking more? Have you decided to start writing songs? That sort of thing. Or have you totally reinvented yourself? That's an interesting one, isn't it? I know some people that have just began reinventing themselves. They've changed their entire journey because they've seen this as a sign and they've gone, this is now my time to do what I wanted to do many moons ago. Now is the opportunity. This is the way I want to go. And I don't know what that might be. That might be something along the line of being a yoga teacher. Maybe you're doing yoga now, or maybe you've decided that you want to become a writer and you're writing books. A friend of mine has just published a book, and it's an amazing book. I'm just going to go get it. Hang on one second. It's just here. It's a book here called Quarter Life. Now, he's been delivering beers, for a long time. He's got a beer delivery company, Vertigo Beers, big up yourself. And he dropped me off some beers, actually, non-alcoholic beers, during lockdown, which was very well received. And he has, written his own novel. It's amazing, honestly. I'm still yet to read it, which is shameful, but I'm going to be reading it, and we'll be getting him on this podcast to talk more about it and what he's been doing during lockdown and the like. So have you taken a job, maybe perhaps just to make ends meet? Make ends meet. I think that's what we needed to get. Have you just getting back? Are you grafting? Are you doing some labour work? Are you doing some construction or demolition or gardening work? Have you done something that you wouldn't normally do, but you're just getting on with it? I used to graft. I used to do a lot of gardening work, and I used to do a lot of construction. I also used to do demolition work. I did whatever I could at the time where I needed to get to where I needed to be to continue. And I guess this is the time, in fact, there's no other time like it to do that. Are you holding on and hoping for change? Have you managed to save up enough money to actually just not do anything, take a huge holiday and just plug away at maybe trying to get some gigs, but deep down you're happy just to wait it out? Or have you sold a bunch of stuff to maybe, make yourself some money? Are they the things? I'll tell you what I've done. I've done things a little bit differently. This has been actually a golden opportunity for me. For the last 5 years, I can safely say that I've sacrificed a lot of social time. I've sacrificed a lot of social experiences, a lot of parties, a lot of after parties that I could have gone to, but instead I didn't, because I was performing live. I was doing up to 4, even 5 shows a weekend just before lockdown kicked in. It was so busy, and it was possibly going to be the best year of my musical career. And sadly, COVID hit, and that all went to pot. And instead of dwelling on it, I decided to engage in more exercise. I found a new love for yoga. I did live shows for a while, actually. I was performing online. I tried about 4 of those, and then my iMac went kaput. And as a result, I decided, I spent a month actually fixing it. It finally fixed it. And by the time I fixed it, actually, I've been so sick of technology that I wanted to take a step away. And I'm so glad I did, because it gave me time to write. It gave me time to form a band who are amazing. We've done some live shows. We've gone out. We did a brilliant couple of shows for Pink Moon Festival on their biggest weekend. And we finally launched that. And this has been something in my life that has been sort of niggling away at the back of me, going, why are you not releasing your own music? And I suppose I got so comfortable performing other people's songs and doing the function stuff, and it became so fruitful that I didn't find the time to actually take the foot off the pedal. Plus having a baby kind of does that, and you sort of take priority over security and all the rest of it. So now I'm starting to actually get my album together, which is really exciting. I've built my new website with the help of Photographer Treasures. So thank you so much, my amazing wife. She really is an absolute star, and I love her very much. And she's been an absolute rock during this whole period of time. And we've really been able to focus on being a mom and dad, because our child she didn't go to nursery in April, which we were supposed to. Lockdown took all that away. So that was hard. She's just about to start nursery now. And I mean, we're talking, mid-September. She's only just starting nursery. So we've had her now for 17 months exclusively. It's just been us and her. So that's been amazing. We'll never get that back. But it's time to be able to have that extra bit of space. She needs to learn more. Anyway, I digress. On the spiritual side of things, I guess without saying the words, I am spiritual, I'm a spiritual person, which is easy, ask yourself, what does spirit mean to you? So we're talking about the spirit of music. What gives your spirit lift? What sends those tingles down your spine? I mean, is it just a scientific chemical reaction in your brain? Maybe. Or is it something deeper? Is there something more? When something speaks to you, when something, you feel it somewhere, it comes from somewhere. What is that feeling? And that's what I want to touch on. I want to touch on feelings. I want to touch on our energy, what we give off. I want to discuss how we are as humans connecting with each other in whole new ways. And now we are being thrust away from connection by limiting how much we can see each other. What are we doing to make sure that our own selves, that our own integrity is staying strong, our own center? It's very hard for a lot of people to just silence all the noise that's going on in their head. There's always something. There's always someone speaking. And I mean, yourself, talking to yourself. Some people don't like that mental chatter. People require social interaction, distraction, and whatnot. So what has lockdown done to them on a spiritual level? How hard has it been for so many people? I know that suicide rates have increased as a result of the lockdown. I know people not seeing their families and losing family members has been detrimental to people's health. We cannot avoid discussing this. This is incredibly important stuff that I believe is integral to humankind. We have been thrusted into this unwilling situation. We don't want to be here, yet here we stand. So maybe we need to find out what works for you, what works for us. What is it that gives the spirit lift? What areas of life brings you purpose or fulfillment? And if it was social interaction, what can we do to change that? Are you talking more with your friends? Are you on the phone a little bit more? Are you on Messenger? Are you doing Zoom? Are you doing Skype? Are you doing more video calls? I want to know that. That's really good. For me personally, playing with the guys has been really good with the band, performing. That is so important to me. Writing music shuts me off from that negative mental chatter that's essentially me dwelling and thinking about everything from a retrospective place or a morbid position. I don't believe that is the way to go. I think we can shut ourselves off, open ourselves up to new ideas and new things by just engaging in those things that we might have not thought about before. So this is what I'd like to talk about. Can we discuss yoga just for a minute? Yoga has been an absolute saving grace for me. I don't know if it's anything to do with the fact that in yoga you are able to stretch out tensions that you wouldn't have otherwise known that were there until you actually stretch it. But there's a sense of meditation to it. All of your focus is only on that particular movement at the time. So however long your yoga practice is, you're leaving behind all the other distractions. You're leaving behind your social media. You're leaving behind the thoughts of insecurity and the rest of it. Yoga has been, for me, probably the biggest step up for my journey in probably all my life. I've been doing yoga every morning. So big shout out to Bruno and his family for, putting me on that. And I know my partner has always done yoga. I remember buying her some yoga classes at Barefoot Yoga and stuff. And, never really paid it much mind because I wasn't engaging in it. But, I started to do it every morning, every day. And my day has changed stratospherically. I can't even begin to explain how the start of my day with yoga eases me in to every single element of my life. It just feels like I've just opened up a new doorway of possibilities. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, but the truth of the matter is it's not cliche. It's genuine. It's truth, and I think it's something that you need to consider deeply, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 30, 40, 50 minutes a day. Just doing it, I promise you're going to see immediate results. Now, I hated running as well before. About a year and a half ago, I never was into running, and I broke my ankle in 2 places, and then signed up myself to go and run in Ethiopia on behalf of a charity and a company I used to work with. And me and my partner, we went across all the way to Ethiopia and we did a big run. I enjoyed doing the training then, and I enjoyed the run. We did the run. It was only a 10K run, which doesn't seem like a lot. It felt like a lot at that point because we had never ran. We had no experience, so it felt like a lot. And then I took a big break, actually, for about a year. Didn't do any more running, and that was it for me. I stopped, and then when lockdown happened, I decided that little hour that we got given, the hour of exercise that we were gifted, I started running. And since then, I can now safely say I set myself a target of doing 2 10K runs this year. Just this month in September, I've already ran 54 miles in 17 days of September. I'm now doing a challenge. It's called Miles for Refugees, and I'm running 108 miles. 108 miles this month. That's the equivalent of London to Calais. It's across the whole channel, past Dover, all the rest of it, all the way to London centre. And it's just a smidgen of a journey that these refugees are willing to take to get their lives back into safety. And so I'm doing that run. We've already raised quite a bit of money between us as a team. It's called the 0121 Brum Team, and it's with Grace and it's with my lovely partner Sarah, and we're all doing it as a squad. So we're very excited to be doing that at the moment. It's very difficult to run every day, which is pretty much what I'm doing, running every day. So thank you all for the sponsorships that have been coming in. That's very, very much appreciated. And I felt a little bit under the weather. I don't know if it was a temperature change, but the weather's nice again, so I'm hoping to get back on my feet again soon. And yeah, running has been a massive, massive aid in keeping my mental health strong, in keeping my drive, in keeping my weight down, and, not falling victim to the, I love junk food. I'll still eat it now, but, falling prey, I guess, to the junk food monster, or the monster that wants you to sit down and watch Netflix and just chill out and not do a fat lot all day long. And, there's a lot of that going around at the moment. Someone said to me, you're either going to come out a hunk, which I'm hoping, a drunk. What was the other one? A hunk, a drunk, or a chunk. And I would rather just come out as a hunk, maybe a chunk. I wouldn't be as bothered with a chunk, but I don't want to be a drunk. So I haven't drank now for over a year, which I'm not proud of. I'm just happy with. I feel good in my body. I feel good in my soul. I feel like my chakras are aligned. I haven't smoked for 2 years. I feel good. I feel complete. And these are just some of the things I don't want to ever preach to anybody about what they should and shouldn't do. That's not who I am. But what I do want to do is make any suggestions. I want to offer any help, any advice for anyone wanting to, draw those good things into their life, to draw those great, will those positive changes into their life, because I promise they are tried and tested by myself for extensive periods of time, and they are fruitful. They work. Just like being plant-based, I've found that I've got a lot less not inflation, but I'm not inflamed. I feel clean, and I feel like the food I digest works for me better. It's not for everybody, and I don't think anything of the things that I've said above is for everybody. But there's an element of I feel great with what I eat. I'm proud of what I eat. I'm excited about what I eat, and I just enjoy what I eat. So, if you can do that without, feeling guilty, I think that's a great win. Anyway, I feel like I'm drifting off just ever so slightly, and I don't want to go away from, the introduction of the whole podcast. So this is the spirit of music and the status quo. I am your host, Mitch Jr., and I'm really, really excited to bring you an episode. I will try to keep these episodes weekly. They're going to be exciting. I'm going to be having people coming and featuring, and we're going to be talking with other people. I'm going to do some live performances. Of course, it would be crazy not to, because I am a musician at heart. And of course, we're going to be talking about all sorts of things involving the spirit of music and the status quo. My name's Mitch Jr. Big love. Thanks for joining.